good afternoon. I'm Steve. It's Jim. That's a pretty tough act to follow. Steve West. Anyway, we live up in North Idaho, and this is going to be a little dog and pony show of our little ranch here in North Idaho. This is our start of our farm. This is our display of our stewardship farm. And even though it says 25 years, it's been actually 35 years. Boy, the fun flies when you're doing time. I'm going to let Janet, well, sure, go ahead.
Well, when I went to school in Chicago, everyone thought that, and I'd say I was from Idaho, everyone said, oh, I know that state, it's where they have corn. Well, it's not Iowa, it's not Ohio, so we thought we'd show you where Idaho is. And we thought we'd show you where in Idaho we are. So we're up in the northern panhandle, about 60 miles from Canada. Now, you get to look at this slide for just a little bit while I tell you a little story, because and if Steve pushes me off the stage, I hope you send the ambulance real quick. But, Steve was raised in Illinois, in the flatland, the corn country. I was raised in southern Idaho, where you could see 100 miles across the sagebrush and potato patch. I could see 100 miles to the Sawtooth Mountains, and occasionally we got to go there to camp. It was fantastic. Steve didn't believe that Idaho was quite as big as it was, and so when he came to Idaho for the wedding, we took my dad's old pickup with a little canopy on the back, and we went up in that central wilderness area in the Salmon River country most of you heard about. It was fantastic. I have to tell you, that was the start of a real love story. Steve and the trees. So anyway, we've had a lot of fun in our lifetime. We've had a lot of detours. We've made a lot of plans that went this way, and somehow when you think the plan of life goes straight, I can tell you the journey is never straight. So anyway, after we got married, Steve was back in school, then he was in the Air Force for a while, and we got to live both stateside and overseas in the Air Force. And we came back, had a little stint in Missouri with more schooling. And then Steve got this job up in the silver mining area of Idaho. The problem was there wasn't much housing there, and the one house that was available kind of fell through. So he'd already signed a contract to work, so off we go. If somebody said, I've got this little farm down in Wolf Lodge, I'd be glad to rent it to you for the winter if you'd like to go down. We said, oh, that sounds great. Little forest, a little stream, we'd love that. We went down, and I can tell you that place was totally derelict. I have to tell you a little bit about Steve and I's personality. I'm generally the kind that, you know, I'll stick my toe in the water, check for alligators. Steve's the kind, he just runs and jumps in. So we were jumped in, I'll tell you that. With his enthusiasm and his tireless energy, he drug us all along, the whole family. We had a great time learning what we've learned. Steve has always kind of had the idea if anyone else could do it, he could do it too. At one point, after the logger came and looked at our tree farm, which in 1975 we became tree farm members, and it was terribly overstocked. And the reason was that we had dog hair timber. It was 78 years old, about this big, and maybe 2 foot only between trees. So the logger logged some out. It was fantastic. Steve thought he could do that too. Steve was not suited for a bulldozer. Anyway, during all this time, we loved the green trees. We loved the stream. We thought we were in heaven until we were totally green. We didn't grow up on farms. We figured out that the forest was degraded, there was terrible erosion in the stream, and we knew we had to do something about it. So we went to all the agencies, and they all said, yeah, you've got a problem. No, I don't know how to help you. So eventually, we had a flood, and we got a permit to fix the street and washed out the bridge. And so we got this permit and did a little work, and you can see on this picture, the area down in the very front is gravel, where we tried to repair the front yard that was getting wiped out. One of the other agencies took exception to this, and Steve was very politely arrested. So what happened is, in 1983, there was a gas line puncture in the gas line that comes across the place, and again, we had got a permit to do some repair work. Again, Steve was arrested, and we decided there's enough of this, so we formed a landowners organization, and with the damages that we got from the pipeline, we were able to put structures the full length of the stream from Forest Service land down to where it enters the lake. So it was about a 6, 7, 8 mile stretch of land. During all of this, we were raising a family. Our kids did 4-H. Now my husband has grandkids to help teach some of those things too. And in the early days, when the bulldozer didn't work out, Steve got a pair of Belgian mares and he did his own logging. I can tell you, he hopped over logs really agilely at that time. When the ground got just a little steep, we hired a professional logger because our soil is very fragile, and so we wanted to keep a light footprint on it. This was one of Steve's logging tools. We had some ground that was a little steep. I didn't want to be a widow prematurely, so Steve got a bit of a bigger tractor, and I bought him a farming winch. And I can tell you that those equipment people still remember me every year around Steve's birthday time, because that's when I got this one, and they remind me it's his birthday, and what else is he going to get? This is our daughter. She's helping move along. You can see that the front end loader and a series of hooks and whatever, we've got a pretty good handle on how to move equipment and logs. This is kind of a little bit of a map of where we are. And when we started, the area in the lower right-hand corner off to the right is how terribly overgrown that hillside was. It's much, much better now, but what you can also see is the stream coming through the bottomland of the property. And you can see that the stream was braided up in the north end, all the way up there. It's taken a lot of work to get that stream back in shape, and that is one of our major, major accomplishments that we're very proud of, is that the stream really is not eroding anymore. You can see that when we have snow in Idaho, in the spring we have floods. And the reason that this flood is not really impacting us is because it's sheet flooding. And the reason it's sheet flooding is because of the structures that we managed to put into the stream channel that help take the energy out of the water and help it to sheet flood. There again, we planted willows and alder and all kinds of things to help protect that riparian zone. So in all of our dealings with the agencies, with extension, we've learned quite a bit, but you know, it took us 39 years to kind of get that information together. So we're still learning. This, remember the first picture in the front yard? This is how that looks today. We have fish habitat, we have shade, things are looking really good. This is looking up the other direction. So we're real proud of what we've done with the riparian zone. Steve also decided that there was one area of hayland that was non-productive. He put it into a wildlife pond. Last year we had 3 pairs of geese that nested on the island there.
Just wanted to show you, this was the 240-acre piece that we purchased about 25 years ago. As you can see, the previous owners kind of cleaned it right off. And we'll just go through and show you what that looks like. This is the homestead right here. This is our hayland. And the elevation from our home to the top is 880 feet. And we have all four aspects of land to deal with, you know, as far as planting. It's going to be quite challenging. This is the pictures of what it looked like after we bought it. It was hit pretty hard, and all the stuff that you see standing there blew over the next spring. There was just no root structure there to hold them because they were just confined to the larger trees. So we started planting. We left the large diameter debris on the ground. We used these Vexar tubing to tell the deer where we planted them. Yeah. I said, see that yellow thing over there? Go there. I said, no, tender shoot there. This is about 23 years later, 24, I lose track of time. We still do logging. We take mainly out short logs up to about 24 feet, 25 feet. And well, at least we did until the price went out. So since there is a paucity of sawmills in our area, like zero, Steve decided he needed a sawmill. You know, always get bigger, better, faster. So these are some logs that would normally be rejected at the mill, and I get a lot of dimensional lumber out of it. I got a lot of beams for custom contracting, that sort of thing. This is a red fir floor I cut for my daughter's home. And the lower left is some blue pine that we can't get rid of, but it sure made a nice cabinets and walls for a customer that required. And of course, everybody knows how to cut firewood, and we're no exception. The lower right, you can see some red cedar. These western red cedar, this would be normally rejected at the mill. We were able to cut enough sidwood off of that to completely build a whole new woodshed. Oh! I was going to talk about wildlife. Well, you know, we work really hard in the summertime, and if we get a little chance and get a little sunbathing again, and when the sun comes out in North Idaho, we're going to take advantage of it. And don't think steel doesn't have competition out there. That bugger, I tell you, he's a beauty. Yes, you all know about beavers. This is Edge Creek Standing Bear. This was taken by a game camera that we had up there. As a matter of fact, it was just last October. My son-in-law, had several of them up there. So here's the Edis erythagus. Whitetail. This is Hector, the gold bald eagle. He actually posed for me. Oh yes, they're everywhere. Here's some elk. Here's my gopher control. I don't shoot coyotes on my place. We think that it's good to have these guys. Moose, fun. We get to have a little fun once in a while. This is an old wagon I restored. It's a 1950 David Bradley wagon. I cut all the larch and the planks for it, hooked up the team, and off we went. This little girl got her first turkey on our place. Thank goodness, she goes back. This is Stevie's elk this year, or last fall, I guess, last season. It was a pretty nice elk. And we do allow hunting on our place, but it's by permission only.
Well, Amy's given us the look, so we're going to skip over some of this. So the more, more is that we figured out that this isn't just about us. It's about policy for us as well as other landowners. So we participated in the Washington, D.C. trip, met the legislators. This is something we are absolutely passionate about. It's called the Spirit in the Woods. It is something that is so important to us that we have actually created a shelter for it so others can enjoy it. And it has to do with that feeling you get when you're in the woods, the fact that there's an aliveness there, that you feel something that makes you be the most honest person you can truly be. There's no option. The woods are honest, they're what they are. Now, is that feeling our spirit being reflected from the woods, or is there something in the woods? Only you and I can decide that for ourselves. Passing it on, we have formed an LLC. This is our children several years ago. This was just recently. They've grown up and they're still there and they're still helping out, so we must be doing something right. Our son-in-law and daughter have taught or had the preschool kids come out for years for Arbor Day, plant trees. Some of them don't want to get their hands dirty, but they've learned it's okay to do that. We've had some middle school forest science days out there. We are adamant that the children of today should not either unintentionally or for dollars and cents only destroy the ecosystem and the sustainability of our forests that protect our water. This is a big, big issue with us. We have hosted a number of things, including the Idaho Opinion Leaders Tour. And if you think that we don't feel lucky, how on earth can that be there and not know that we've got a pot of gold?
That's me thinking of that.
At the end of the day, despite the detours, despite the ups and downs, it's a good day if you live on a tree farm.